Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and there's another paid request for Sean. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for The Sure Thing, a 1985 film directed by Rob Reiner, who go on to do Misery and various other films, and starring John Cusack and Daphne Zuniga. Of course, John Cusack would be in Better Off Dead, Con Air, 1408. Daphne Zuniga, I remember she was in The Fly 2, she was in Spaceballs. The film also has a small role with Anthony Edwards, who was in Top Gun and Miracle Mile. Tim Robbins has a small part, which later he'd be in, of course, Howard the Duck, Jacob's Ladder, Shawshank Redemption. Pretty much the gist of it, it's a love story. It's a love story where John Cusack isn't the best at meeting the ladies. He'll go on this tirade about astronauts and the stars, and then how you like a sexual encounter so intense it'll change your political views. Which is a pretty funny line. But she's like, nah. And then when a guy says, you want to dance, he immediately goes to the guy. So he's not doing the best. He goes to college, he's still not doing the best. He's not doing well in English class, so he gets Daphne Zuniga to tutor him. He kind of has a little crush on her, but he follows the bad advice of his roommate. So he follows the guy's advice as to what to say, which he thought was crap, but he decides to listen to him anyway. And then Daphne thinks it was crap, and, oh, you just did this on purpose. You just wanted to get my pants. No, 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 no. So, after that, John Cusack has written to his buddy, who's in California, that, things aren't working the best. Anthony Edwards sends him a letter and a postcard saying, hey, this girl in the bikini, she's a sure thing. He immediately needs to get over there to California, gets a ride share with this couple. One of them is Tim Robbins, and lo and behold, the other passenger is Daphne Zuniga. And then the rest of the film is a journey to get to California, where ups and downs happen. They don't like each other. They grow to like each other. They realize they fall in love with each other. There's a down patch where they're separated. And then by the very end, they realize they actually do love each other. They kiss in the movie. Now, I have seen the film before. I'd probably say I liked it a bit better the second time. This time I saw it. Because I remember the first time I saw it, I did not like this film at all. Watch it again, I liked it. It's a sweet love story. John Cusack and Daphne do a solid job being, these opposite people, but they don't feel too much like one-note caricatures. There's little humorous moments, whether it be, the different personalities, like John Cusack having cheese balls and beer for breakfast, and him egging her on about being repressed, so she goes out and shows her titties. We don't get to see him, but shows them titties outside, which stops Tim Robbins and his wife, tits them out, and they gotta figure out what to do next. But you have moments where, they, despite their animosity, they do help each other. Daphne almost gets assaulted. She's pretty much getting assaulted, and John Cusack helps her out. I did like the way he helped her out by pretending to be this crazy hitchhiker guy, being completely over the top to scare the guy. Why are we not moving? You'll have to drive a mile. And he's like punching the roof. Why did you stop and pick me up? You know what? I think I better leave. I don't like this place anymore. Is this your wife? I won't take her with me. So the guy's freaked out. So yeah, the actors do their jobs well. It's not the most hilarious movie to me. I thought a film like Better Off Dead, which John Cusack for some reason hates that film. I still do not get why he hates that film. I do think that film or One Crazy Summer, I think those are more entertaining John Cusack 80s films. I think those are more funny. That's just me. It's funny with Tim Robbins in this. There's another movie they almost worked together because at one point I believe John Cusack was up for the voice of Howard in Howard the Duck. I remember hearing that somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but I do remember at one point hearing that at one point John Cusack was up for the voice of Howard the Duck, which was Tim Robbins was in, and that came out I believe after this, which that would have been interesting, but that didn't happen. But yeah, it's not the most hilarious movie. You know, there are bits that they're kind of trying to hitchhike on their own, try to figure out what to do next. They get to the train station. He has no money. She gives him money. She decides, you know what? We'll stick together. Uh, he hears about her boyfriend. He gets drunk in a bar. You know, bits here and there. It's more about, like I said, there's funnier movies. So the pacing was a bit iffy for me in the middle portion of the film. But I think, you know, in this realm of 80s, there's a lot of comedies that are trying to be much more raunchy, like Porky's type of comedies, or much more risque comedies. This one tried to be a bit more of a sweeter love story. So while it doesn't have as much impactful humor, like a Revenge of the Nerds, Animal House, Stripes, I'm just think of any random 80s comedy. This still was going more for the love story, and I think because of the two people they cast, it works rather well for that instance. And again, once in a while there was a chuckle that got out of my stomach when they're in the rain, and well, I guess spoilers. She's like, "Oh, I remember. I got my credit card, my dad's credit card, but my dad said I can only use it in emergencies." And they're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's raining, storming, and John Cusack just looks at her and goes, "Well, maybe one will come up." And I do like you see a bit of their bonding, whether it be him showing her how to guzzle beer with put the pen in and, you know, shotgun it, or them having dinner. So there are moments you can see why they kind of start, you know, easing up on each other. There's a bit they share the bed, and he is accidentally hunting her, and he freaks out. "I didn't do anything." "I know. I swear I didn't do that." "I know." "Oh, okay then." But I mean, is it predictable? Sure, it's predictable. You know that they don't like each other, then they don't start liking each other, then something's going to happen where they separate, then by the end they're together. Like, so you know what's going to happen. So it's not the most original story, it's not the most original script. But I think the chemistry of the two leads definitely help on that. Also, like some of the music choices. I like the opening. New sensation, new sensation. I think that was a song. What was the song at the beginning? Or am I just daydreaming? Like, I remember there's some pretty good songs on the soundtrack, but you know, with me, oh, it was a. God, I don't know why I watched multiple films back to back to back, and I did things mixed up and merged. That's my mistake. Infatuation was the one at the beginning by Rod Stewart. Infatuation. Ooh. Infatuation. And I read that, I'm like, yeah, yep, that was at the beginning. I did like that song. Infatuation. But you have other songs too. The Heart of Rock and Roll by Huey Lewis and the News. Two Sides of Love by Sammy Hagar. Party All Night by Quiet Riot. You Might Think by The Cars. You might think I lose on my own. Do 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 do. You might think, but da da da. I'm doing a crap job of it. So, in spoilers, they did a ride on a truck. She overhears that he's going to California for a sure thing. That makes her mad. They argue. They separate. Granted, I don't know why she's getting that mad, because you have a boyfriend too, lady. It's not like you said, I'm going to break up with my boyfriend. Like, you told him you're going to see your boyfriend. So now he can't go to see a sure thing? Like, you got a boyfriend too, lady, so why are you getting so pissed at him? Unless you told him you're going to dump your boyfriend, what else is he supposed to do? But anyway, we gotta have an excuse for the breakup. And they get to the party. She's with her boyfriend, who's a stuck-up guy. He's looking for the girl. Anthony Edwards says some lies about him. I do like the line where John Cusack tells her, "Excuse me, won't you? I have to kick the shit out of someone." You told her I was a virgin? You told her I was gay? And then they both, Daphne and John, they're with their other possible lovers. Next time we see them at school, John Cusack wrote a paper. She tells him, I broke up with the guy. By hearing the paper, realizing he didn't sleep with that girl, wasn't my type. They get together, they kiss, movie ends. So it is a sweet love story of a movie. Again, there are moments that did make me chuckle. Like I say, it's not the most hilarious film. It's not the most original film. At times it could be rather predictable. At times I think the middle portion is a bit slow. But overall, it was fine for what it needed to be. It's not a film I rewatch much. Like I said, I think Better Off Dead is much more of the memorable comedy. But the two actors made it work, and if you like love stories that are sweet, and if you like these actors, it's definitely worth a watch. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.